Shridhar Venkat. He walked away from executive roles at global brands like Philips, ABB and Webex to lead what has become the world's largest school-feeding non-profit.
And Akshaya Patra Foundation. Akshaya Patra will serve its second billionth meal tomorrow.
Akshaya Patra Foundation.
Akshaya Patra started distributing meals from its new kitchen in Watford this week.
देश के बचपन को पोषक आहार देने का ये सात्विक दान कर रहा है.
The Akshaya Patra Foundation, feeding over 2.35 million midday meals and 1 million morning nutrition servings every single day. When it started, how did it start? Where did it start? What was the mission or vision?
Visionary seed-giving father of Akshaya Patra is Swami Srila Prabhupada. He saw children fighting with stray dogs on leftover scrap of food. Tears rolled down from his eyes. And he gave a mandate that in a 10-mile radius, no one should go hungry, especially children. We are in 25,000 schools in 16 states and 3 union territories. Currently, we feed 2.35 million children.
How did your peers react?
I met some of my close friends and some of the colleagues and all. Like, I'm working with IBM Shridhar. I'm working for Samsung. So I told them I work for God.
How these initiatives also help in women empowerment on scale.
We have also set up an all-women kitchen in Barsana, which is in Uttar Pradesh. So right from security guard till the head of operations, a lady.
Oh, wow.
And they're all from that location. Women driving electric vehicles.
Amazing.
They're cooking with ladles which are innovated for them. And that has created a significant impact on that location.
How many facilities do you have?
78 kitchens, out of which 2 are decentralized kitchens. For every 100 rupee a donor gives, 92 goes to the program. 8 is our overhead cost. And today as we speak, for $20, we can feed a child for one whole year.
So the government was your active partner from day one.
So 2000 we started. Supreme Court gave a directive, support in the form of cash, support in the form of grains, and then Infosys, Mr. Narayana Murthy and Mr. Sudha are big supporters of Akshaya Patra. Akshaya Patra has kept things simple, so simplicity is key to scaling up. I would want one of our beneficiaries become the CEO of Akshaya Patra. That is one of my dreams.
Oh wow, yeah.
The whole idea was to have a vision that no child in India will be deprived of education because of hunger.
Hello and welcome to the Talk Lane. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome a remarkable leader whose life is a testament to purpose over profit. Shridhar Venkat. He walked away from executive roles at global brands like Philips, ABB and Webex to lead what has become the world's largest school-feeding non-profit, the Akshaya Patra Foundation, feeding over 2.35 million midday meals and 1 million morning nutrition servings every single day. Under his leadership, Akshaya Patra has achieved some of the most inspiring milestones in the non-profit world. Starting in 2000, serving 1,500 children across 5 schools in Bangalore, to now scaling to 4 billion meals served cumulatively, commemorated at the United Nations in April 2024, Akshaya Patra Foundation, TAP F UK, and receiving elite recognitions including the Gandhi Peace Prize in 2016, Nikkei Asia Prize, BBC Global Food Champion Award in 2019, and multiple ICAI Gold Shield Awards and Hall of Fame honors. As CEO, Shridhar himself was recently awarded the 2025 James and Carol Hovey Eisenhower Fellowships Impact Award, complete with a $10,000 prize to support Akshaya Patra's continued work across the globe. But behind every number and award lies his guiding conviction that feeding a child isn't charity, it's a responsibility. Today, we will explore his path from corporate world to social impact, the rise of Akshaya Patra from a single temple kitchen to feeding millions, its ripple effect on India's future, and the legacy he's building with compassion and vision. Hi Shridhar, welcome to the Talk Lane. Thank you so much for coming to the studio in New York.
Thank you, Anu. Thank you for having me here.
Awesome.
It's a pleasure.
Awesome. So Shridhar, I want to start our conversation by understanding who is Shridhar Venkat beyond his title as CEO for Akshaya Patra. So we want to zoom in by learning a bit about you and your childhood. So tell us about your early years, your childhood. Where were you raised? What was your childhood like? And what led to your foray into the corporate world?
So I come from Nagpur, Anu, which is a small town. Now it has become bigger
Yeah.
in India, in Maharashtra. So from a family of 4 children, 3 brothers and 1 sister. My childhood was fantastic. I came from a middle class family, enough for our need, but not much for our greed. My mother taught me a lot of values, instilled courage in me, and I have a lot of friends from my childhood, even in touch today, and we have a lot of fun. And my childhood, I have fond memories of my childhood. So, from a formative years, I wanted to do something for the nation. Okay, that was always there in my mind. And then I did my engineering, went on to do my master's in management. And after finishing my engineering, I got into corporate jobs and changed from one job to another. I was there for about 16 years with corporates. And that's when a meeting with Madhu Pandit Prabhu, whom I look up to, who's the chairman of Akshaya Patra, happened. And he asked me a calling kind of a question. And he said, I was transitioning from one job to another. And he said, Shridhar, why are you shifting from one place to another? Why are you building empires for others? So there was like a calling kind of a question for me. And he said, why don't you build empires for these children who need you? And Akshaya Patra was feeding children in government schools back in India at the time. So that was like a moment of calling for me. And I quit a corporate job and got into Akshaya Patra. I had always ambitions to become a CEO by the age of 40. And I got an opportunity to become one much earlier. But I think Akshaya Patra gave me purpose. That's what I was looking for.
So I think, so before Akshaya Patra, I think it is the story that I want to zoom in on, right? So you were obviously involved with many well-known MNCs, right? So we're talking about Philips, ABB, Webex. These are like very big names, especially back in the days, right?
Yeah,
Those were like the corporates one want to associate with.
Yes.
It was also the India at that point in time, the aspirational class who really wanted to be associated with MNC, have like the CEO job, CEO title. Which was, I think for Webex, was it that you were offered a CEO role, or was it
From Webex, I was offered a CEO role in another company
okay, yeah.
overseas.
Yeah.
And somehow I didn't like the initial years there, initial months there. Then I wanted to come back to India. So I had another offer as a CEO of a firm. And the firm which I was there wanted me to come to China. So I had come back home to India to decide whether I should stay back in India or go to China.
So it was when you were in Caribbean, at that point in time, you were transitioning to some other firm in China. So it was basically from one overseas location to another. And there was
The same firm offered me to come back to China. And I had another offer in India. So I was toying between the two.
Okay.
And that's when I met the chairman of Akshaya Patra.
But so what was that role, and what transition was happening there? Like, why were you not happy in Caribbean islands? Was it something were you like miserably homesick, India sick? What was happening?
So I think I found a great place, very beautiful country. But I think culturally I was not aligned with what was happening there. Though I have great respect for the nation. So culturally I found myself misfit. So that's what led me to
reevaluate. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then you were toying between the ideas, and I believe then you probably made a short trip back to India.
Correct.
And then
Correct.
how did you happen to meet the chairman of Akshaya Patra?
So I was staying, I was volunteering with Akshaya Patra earlier. So I knew the chairman pretty well. And he's a monk from IIT Mumbai. And so I was staying at their guest house. And that's when he called me to his office. And this conversation happened that changed my life forever.
So he basically, as it happens with a lot of spiritual callings, as it happens with a lot of, purpose calling in life, it is with some person just becomes a catalyst. And then he became a catalyst for you, who was kind of pushing you to probe, like, what is the deeper meaning of your life, or something on those lines, which you were like, yeah, that's true. Maybe I can do something else. So that's the kind of calling you had at that point in time. But even then, right? So having been raised in a middle-class Indian upbringing, even today, the idea of being in corporate before 40, being a CEO before 40, living overseas, making a lot of money is still an aspiration, right? So that is kind of ingrained in us as we're growing up. That's one thing that every parent, especially middle class parents,
Yes.
like engineering, MBA, CEO by 40, that's everybody, right? And then overseas. So how hard it is to choose between the two callings, right? So one is to understand that I am doing this, which is in corporate world, which I have experience of doing it for, almost 15, 20 years now. And should I really leave it? I think it's a big transition. It couldn't be like, someone just asked you and then you were like, it was a leap of faith and like, yeah, let me just do this. It's experimentative. It sounds fun. Because there are a lot of fears associated with it. There comes a lot of considerations, especially as we get older, which is like, should I really do this? What are my friends doing? What will my family think? How does it pay for me eventually? What does this do to my career? Because 40 and 60, there's still 20 years of gap. It's not your fag end of your career. It's like, I only have 2-3 years. Who cares? I've done enough. And I've left a corporate legacy. That's not what we are at 40. So I want to understand more about the inner conversation or the turmoil or the dilemma or whatever it is that you had. And how did you come to that conclusion? I am assuming it's not a one-day decision. It probably took you like weeks or months to decide before you said yes.
So it's completely the other way around.
Oh, really?
Yes. So before that, let me tell you what kind of learnings formed my thought, okay? One, as a young boy, I had come across a lecture where it was, I think, was Sadhu Vaswani's lecture. I think. He said, happiness moves in circles. When I make my friend happy, he makes someone else happy, that one makes someone else happy. We come in the circle of happiness.
Like a chain reaction.
Chain of happiness.
Yeah.
We are looking for happiness. So this thought was there in my mind right from my younger days. And over the years, thanks to leaders like Madhu Pandit Prabhu, who has been an inspiration for me, and Chanchalapati Prabhu, who's the vice chairman of Akshaya Patra, and the many other missionaries with whom I initially worked, having purpose of life was something very, very important. What is the purpose of your life? Why do you exist? So much earlier in my life, I realized that all of us are looking for happiness. Having purpose, clear purpose, where you serve others, leads to happiness. So I think that I found in the question which Madhu Pandit Prabhu asked me, the chairman of Akshaya, that was like a resonance. So I have nothing against corporates. Corporates have given me so much, right? But I was really looking for meaning of life, why I am doing what I am doing. For example, when Akshaya Patra got the first time Great Place to Work certification, we are 9 times in a row Great Place to Work certified. So the interviewer asked me, if there is one question you would like to ask, at the time we had 6,000 employees. So if there is one question you would like to ask all your employees, what is that? So my answer was, my question would be, why are you doing what you're doing? So probably this question from Madhu Pandit Prabhu, why are you building empires for others? Build for these children who need you. I think that was kind of a resonance for me. And I found purpose of my life. And it just took me less than a minute to say yes to him. So
you straight up said yes?
Yes.
You did not go home, tell your wife, your family, nobody. You said, okay, no, I'm going to do this. I'm now going to be CEO of Akshaya Patra, which is basically non-profit.
Suppose that I called my wife and told her that, hey, I'm planning to shift. And she asked me, hey, I hope they're going to pay you.
Yeah, it's non-profit.
Right?
Yeah.
But she has been a great supporter of me. And all these years, she's done a great support for me. My Akshaya Patra role or my earlier corporate role. So that has been my journey so far, actually.
So there was no friction. I think taking a step back, right? So it's basically, yes, it's a huge leap. Corporates pay obviously a lot more than non-profits. So I'm assuming you possibly took a pay cut.
So yes, so there is from a money perspective, yes. But I think there are things beyond money, Anu, right? So probably I was looking for that and I found it.
So interesting enough, you spoke about purpose, right? So one of the things with purpose is, does it have to be only about serving others, right? Because a purpose, if I have to look at billionaires of the world, if I have to look at Elon Musk, if I have to look at anybody else, right? So their purpose is not defined in non-profit, but about a certain idea or a certain innovative thought that they have that they want to see to fructification. It's also one of them, right? And that's why you see a lot of people actually end up in corporates, because they believe in that. That's their purpose, which is like, I'm going to make a world-class product, I'm going to make a world-class company, and I'm going to be a billionaire. And that is also a purpose, right? So what is the definition of, so from that perspective, if I have to look at it, you had a purpose, which is like, I want to be CEO by the time I'm 40, possibly make my parents proud, do exceptionally well, be in an affluent family, move like a ladder up in the social economy strata. That's also a purpose, right?
I beg to differ there, Anu, because I would call that as a goal. Purpose, I think, defines why do you exist? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you exist? And, a different view, I'll tell you, okay, is each one of us, every soul in this world, whether it's a human or an animal or a beast, is looking for happiness. All of them, if you ask me why Elon Musk is doing what he is doing, or why you're doing this podcast, or why anyone is doing whatever, all of us are looking for happiness. This is the intrinsic quality of a soul, looking for happiness. There is another quality. It is always serving. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, we always serve others and we derive happiness out of it.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
So purpose is something which is beyond goals. Like I want to be a CEO, I want to become a billionaire, or I want to become XYZ, or I want to do this. So when you serve others in need, and when you spread happiness, it comes back to you. And that's what each one of us is looking for. So that's how I would define purpose. And then purpose fuels passion. Passion results in action in terms of transformation or whatever you want to do.
So you basically understood that your purpose kind of differs from what your goal is. And did you feel comfortable that you had achieved your goal at that point in time for you to take this role or make this transition?
No, it was a chance which I took.
It was a chance that you took.
It was a chance I took.
And
it was a chance I took. But I did feel that I'm doing something meaningful. I didn't know that Akshaya Patra will become so big, so popular. But I would like to give all this credit to the team and the wonderful leadership that is there in Akshaya Patra.
And so basically it was a chance you took, and then
it's a chance.
You
Definitely
just went on with it. At that point in time, you had obviously spent so much time in the corporate world, which means that you also had a lot of your mentors, like who would have mentored you and helped you reach the certain position in your corporate world. Did you speak to them? Did you tell them that I'm quitting and I'm actually taking this position? And what was their reaction?
This was, so that's what I'm telling you, this was a split-second decision for me. So, sometimes in life, you take decisions which are, you feel, I have to take this. It happened with me. So this decision, unlike others what I have taken, where there is discussion, advice, in my case, this one was a
impulse decision.
I won't call it impulsive. I would call it a kind of a divine calling.
Okay. But in that moment, it was not like thought through. It was like, yes, it just feels right, so I'll jump on it because it just makes sense for me.
And it also depends on who is giving you that suggestion. It was coming from a person whom I look up to. And I knew that he won't tell me something which is not good for me. Sri Madhu Pandit Prabhu is the chairman of Akshaya Patra. I knew that he won't be telling me something which is not good for me. He knew me very well. He knew my family very well.
So you had developed a relationship with him, which was probably spanning for a few years before it got to the point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you had known him very closely. You had known him very well. And that was basically like a familial relationship with him.
Correct.
And so you trusted his advice. If he saw this in you, then I think, would you say he was some sort of like a spiritual guru to you at that point in time?
So my spiritual master is Swami Srila Prabhupada. And he also, his master is also Srila Prabhupada actually.
Oh.
But he's much senior to me.
Okay.
Okay. In terms of realizations, in terms of knowledge. Okay. So I look up to him. So he's like much senior in the ladder. But our spiritual master is one.
Yeah. So and so basically you could trust his guidance from
Yes,
that
absolutely,
perspective.
absolutely,
Yeah. But how
absolutely.
did your peers react when they thought about it? Did they reach out to you? Did they have?
So I'll tell you,
any-
after I think a year or so, I met some of my close friends and some of the colleagues and all like. So one was saying, I'm working with IBM Shridhar, I'm working for Samsung, other ones are Reliance. So I told them I work for God. I work for these children. So that was, and they appreciated it actually. They're close friends of mine. So they really appreciated it. So this is say 20 years back, right? This is my 20th year in Akshaya Patra. At the time, not many executives from corporates were shifting to not-for-profits. So I would say probably I was amongst those early people who took the shift or took the risk, if you have to say. But so happened.
Yeah. And what was your confidence from that perspective, like moving forward? Were there any skeptics around you? Were there any skeptical comments around you at early on? Or maybe like, because I'm sure as in with any journey, it comes with its own sort of ups and downs, its own sort of challenges. Were there any doubts in your mind at any given point in time that possibly I should have thought through this, or you were just confident from the get-go?
I was very confident of the purpose, what I had got in my life. But of course, there were a lot of challenges because I came from corporate. I had no background of working for a not-for-profit. And the ways not-for-profit works is largely different from a corporate. But then what worked for me is, if I was to describe Akshaya Patra as a person, I would say a person whose mind is of a corporate and heart of a compassionate not-for-profit. So this combination is what really worked. So what we did, or what I did along with my team, was not straitjacketing what is happening in a corporate into a not-for-profit, but adapting good corporate principles to a not-for-profit. So that really worked. That really worked. Many, the initial few months or a year or some time, there was resistance to what I was doing. But then again, I got solid support from my chairman. He said, I'll stand by you. And that really motivated me. That really motivated me.
Yeah.
And
so zooming in about Akshaya Patra now, right?
Yes,
Like
yeah.
I want you to help our viewers and listeners really understand what Akshaya Patra is everything about. So tell us what it is about. How did it start? What was its history? What is the vision, mission? And we're not talking about where it stands and what it was done today, but when it started, how did it start? Where did it start? What was the mission or vision behind that?
so the visionary seed-giving father of Akshaya Patra is Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is one of the foremost spiritual masters from India, who came to the US and built a large movement called the International Institute of Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. He had built a temple in a place called Mayapur, which is near Kolkata, in mid-70s. And, when a big, large temple is built, food was served, feast was served to people who had come on plankton leaf. And after a huge feast was served, everybody was resting in their respective apartments. Prabhu was also resting. And he heard cries of children. And when he opened the apartment window, he saw children fighting with stray dogs on leftover scrap of food that was strewn over the plankton leaves. And he saw that and tears rolled down from his eyes. And he said, today we have called the Supreme Father here, this temple of God. Wherever Supreme Father is there, or Father is there, his children should not go hungry. And he gave a mandate that in a 10-mile radius, no one should go hungry, especially children. So this was a visionary seed of Akshaya Patra. And 30 years later, or about 25 years later, I would say, Akshaya Patra got incorporated in a form of a secular trust to ensure that children who go to government schools don't go hungry. The whole idea was to have a vision that no child in India will be deprived of education because of hunger. So the visionary seed which Srila Prabhupada gave was channelized for a not-for-profit which was focused on ending classroom hunger. And, the initial days, we were sending a meal which was khichdi in Hindi, which is lentils, rice, vegetables, and butter, and nice preparation. That was going every day to these children, 5 schools and 1,500 children.
That was 25 years later.
That was 25 years later.
Right. So, but at the time when he thought of this idea, I believe it was when the meals were served for free at ISKCON Temple for about 25 years till then. That was the practice that he started,
yes. So
right?
he started a program called Food for Life, and they still continue. And whichever center of ISKCON you go, meal prasad is something which is given to all the people
everyone who comes to the temple.
So that was the spirit with the Akshaya Patra started, but of course it got scaled up in a much, much larger manner.
Yeah. So the way it started was he saw this incident, or he saw this happening, and he realized there's probably something much bigger that we have to do.
Yes.
And what that meant is, but for that idea to be scaled to the level of it becoming a non-profit, which is serving food to children in India. Before that, it was kind of executed as in-temple meals, or to everyone who comes to the temple, like free meals for everyone who walks into the temple.
But Swami Srila Prabhupada Anu was a great visionary. He envisioned 50 years back that we should partner, his organization should partner with government, and the government and his organization should come together to solve this hunger problem. So he had already written saying that he had sown the seeds of a public-private partnership, which Akshaya Patra is today.
So in mid-70s itself, the whole program of serving meals in the temple also started in partnership with the government, is it?
No. That's what Akshaya Patra did.
Okay.
So temples were doing their own programs, but what Akshaya Patra did, based on the written direction of Swami Srila Prabhupada, they partnered with the government. You see, if you have to solve a problem like hunger in a country like India, especially classroom hunger, then you need to solve it at scale. And scale comes with partnering with government. That's how we are a public-private partnership.
So basically, you're saying that the very first time that it was incorporated as a public-private partnership. So the government was your active partner from day one.
So when we started, we didn't have partnership with the government. So 2000 we started. 2003 is when the Supreme Court of India gave a directive, because there was a public interest litigation from Dr. Jean Rees from Delhi School of Economics, where he said, if there is a not-for-profit feeding children in government schools, the government should participate and support them. So Supreme Court gave a directive that they should give financial support in the form of cash, support in the form of grains to these not-for-profits. So that was the tipping point for Akshaya Patra to scale up. One of the reasons. There are many other reasons to scale up. One of them is this.
So Akshaya Patra Foundation started with an aim to actually provide meals to children in school. And that was kind of the legacy that was carried on from the free meal program at ISKCON, which was for everybody.
Exactly. But, and the visionary direction which Swami Srila Prabhupada gave, that we should partner with government and scale up this program. So in 2003, the public-private partnership happened. 2000 Akshaya Patra started.
And so that's the history of how it started.
Yeah.
But what were some of the founding principles? Like what were some of the founding milestones that Akshaya Patra was really aiming towards at that point in time?
Founding principles is, one of the things we always talk about is we should give, no one can match a mother's meal. But we can come closer in terms of giving what a mother would give if she had resources. So Akshaya Patra always strived and believes that we should give hot, fresh, nutritious meals to children and at the same time, very tasty meal. So this is the founding principle of Akshaya Patra.
And where was the first? Where was this started first? Where was the Akshaya Patra Foundation incorporated? And what was like the starting journey like? Like how many kitchens did you have? Where did you serve from?
So Akshaya Patra was started in Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of East.
Yeah.
Okay. And we started with 5 schools and 1,500 children. As I mentioned, we were sending preparation of lentils, rice, dal, pulses, etc. to these 5 schools. And something interesting happened.
Sorry, but before that, so these 5 schools, where were they? How did you get in a partnership with them? And was it before the litigation or after the litigation that you guys partnered with these schools and government?
So these 5 schools we were doing before the Supreme Court order came.
So you approached these schools and said, we would like to give free meals.
Before Akshaya Patra came in Karnataka, dry rations were given to parents to feed the child.
Oh, so basically if you send them to school, then the children will get
Dry
food
ration.
grains
The
they can
parents
take
will
back
get,
home
yeah.
for
But
the
whether
parents.
that was coming to the child for their meal, that was a question mark. But this is how it was there. So Akshaya Patra is credited for starting India's first centralized kitchen infrastructure in the not-for-profit sector. In fact, during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time, Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time, he spoke about Akshaya Patra from the ramparts of Red Fort, that this program will be called Akshaya Patra. He was talking about the government program, actually.
Okay. So the way it started is you guys had approached the schools on your own
Yes.
in Bangalore
Yes.
from wherever the ISKCON temple was,
Yes.
and you possibly knew
Yes.
of these few schools. So you
Yes.
said, hey, we would like to give
Yes.
free meals to the
Yes.
children.
So
And that would
they thought we are from some Rotary club or some club, right? We just want to feed for 1 or 2 days or some function is there. Then we went and told them we want to feed every day. So they were visibly surprised. Right?
Yeah. So but this was in addition to the free grains or whatever they were getting from the government. So in addition, you said we will also serve free meals to all
Yeah.
these 5
Yes.
schools.
Yes.
And now in the United States, I mean, we are in 2025. So in the United States, if you want to do that, you will have to take a lot of permissions to be able to do that. You will have to, pass a lot of regulatory requirements, compliance, before you can actually go and serve in the schools. When you did that in 2000s in India, how hard or easy it was to partner with these schools?
So the schools welcome definitely. And let me also share with you, Anu, that one of the reasons why Akshaya Patra succeeded is tremendous cooperation from the government and the government machinery. Because where we feed, these are government schools. So the local bureaucrats, the government leaders, they supported Akshaya Patra's initiative.
So even before this litigation started, even before you guys had this directive from Supreme Court, the local government or bureaucratic,
they were very supportive. They were very supportive. Very
okay,
supportive.
so that's how you all started. You said we'll serve the meals for the entire year.
And every day for all the schooling days, so the schools really welcome. And then we were serving for 5 schools and 1,500 children. And then the neighboring schools said, why are you giving only these 5 schools?
Why not us? Yeah.
Why not us?
Yeah.
So we started collecting applications. And one day, in front of the chairman, there was a big file of requests. And he opened the file and he saw there was a request for 100,000 children in Silicon Valley of East. And that gave him the idea that we should use technology
to scale it now.
to scale this up.
But before we get there, one of my questions is the whole ISKCON movement and the kitchen movement or free meals movement in ISKCON started in 70s. Why did it take about 25 years, or what was missing for those 25 years before you could get to Akshaya Patra, non-profit that was serving meals to students or to children in the school? Because the kitchen always existed. I go to ISKCON. A lot of Indians who live here, irrespective of whether they follow ISKCON or not, they always go there.
Yeah.
And one of the incentive is actually the meals, right? So the kitchen existed, the facility existed. What was missing for these 25 years before it got to a point where Akshaya Patra was formed and it became like an epicenter to actually then serve to the schools? And it's just understanding where the bridge was or where the missing elements were.
So ISKCON was doing feeding programs. They continue to do in different temples. Now, the real missing link was how do we scale up exponentially? So these programs are happening in a federated manner in different places. Then few friends of the chairman, they visited the ISKCON temple, and then they said, Swamiji, why don't you feed government school children? They come to school hungry, and let meal become an incentive for these children to come to school.
Yeah, it was more like meal going to people or children rather than them coming to or for a meal. So how do we kind of scale it up and get to that point?
And before that, he toyed up with different ideas. They gave him different suggestions. Why don't you do this? Because there's a huge temple in Bangalore from where the Akshaya Patra started. So different schemes and programs or plans were evaluated. But this one aligned with what Srila Prabhupada had told. And that's how the chairman, Madhu Pandit Prabhu, he picked up this idea, and then rest is history.
Okay. And so when this was formed, of course, scale up is much later, but even to initiate, it requires a lot of funding.
Yeah.
So who were the initial partners to fund Akshaya Patra, especially when you were just serving the 5 schools in Bangalore? Who were these partners of yours?
So initial partners were a bank, and then Infosys Foundation, Mr. Narayana Murthy and Mr. Sudha Murthy are big supporters of Akshaya Patra.
Yeah.
Mr. Mohandas Pai, who was the founding trustee of Akshaya Patra, and a few of his friends, they all came together. And very important point, that the monks from the temple, they were raising money for Akshaya Patra. So they really have laid the bricks or the foundational bricks of Akshaya Patra.
So it was more of like a few donors coming together, some high net worth individuals.
And the missionaries reaching out to again high net worth individuals. And,
high net worth individuals, possibly like small retail investments as well from a few, what I would call is like few worshippers of ISKCON, and then corporates, and especially Infosys, Narayana Murthy and Sudha Murthy.
He believed. So Narayana Murthy believed in, he continues to, believed in Akshaya Patra's cause, and they were very generous.
Right. So when the first 5 schools started, from there, tell us the scale up story. Tell us like where from 5 schools are you today?
So from those 5 schools in 2000, we are in 25,000 schools in 16 states and 3 union territories. Currently, we feed 2.35 million children.
On a daily basis.
On a daily basis, 2.35 million. Apart from that, the last 1 year, we also started morning nutrition. And we are giving dry snack to these children, 1 million of them. So 2.35 million children for midday meals and 1 million servings of morning nutrition. So 3.35 million servings are going every day out to these children, actually.
And for many who do not know, this is actually the world's largest school meal program.
By a not-for-profit.
By a not-for-profit. Like this is just another level of scaling from just starting in 5 schools, right? So what were, because this is not an easy journey, right? It's a very huge leap from like 1,500 to 2 to 3 and 3.5 million children on an everyday basis. How did Akshaya Patra go about scaling to that level? So we want to talk about the technological, the operations, and the strategic levers that were part of this entire scale up. Apart from obviously the government partnership or any other corporate partnerships that you would have had. So just probably, if you can tell us briefly, like touching upon these levers, like what was the partnership or how did you go about, building all of these levers for it to become a program that it is today?
So I'll tell you the DNA of scaling of what I have seen in the last 20 years in Akshaya Patra. First one is focus. So all 9,000 plus employees of Akshaya Patra, whom I call as hunger warriors, they get up in the morning with just one mission of how do we ensure a hot, safe, nutritious meal to a child. So focus. Second is simplicity, keeping things simple. When an organization becomes very big, processes and systems take over, and you may lose that personal touch. Akshaya Patra has kept things simple. So simplicity is key to scaling up. Third is frugal innovation. Whether it's technology or a roti making machine, which today makes 40,000 rotis per hour. Made in India, for Indian children. So frugal innovation. Fourth is governance. For a trust in India, you don't need an audit committee. But Akshaya Patra for the last 20 years has had an audit committee of independent members. Fourth is governance. Fifth is, which I would call the secret sauce of Akshaya Patra, is confluence of missionaries who have purpose and professionals who bring in systems and processes and efficiency to scale it up. So these are the 5 DNA of Akshaya Patra, which has helped us scale up. And apart from this, the public-private partnership really helped us in scaling up.
I think one of the things that I want to talk about is what I have seen. This was like a documentary that I saw many years ago, which actually spoke about the technological innovation within your kitchens, where it is no longer women sitting with dough or kneading the dough and making rotis, or it's not about, people actually cooking in the pots. You actually do it with a state-of-art technological facility where it is highly automated, right? Which is more like, I used to think those are basically German precision machinery, but I remember you telling me that's actually all of these machines are made in India. So it's an automated kitchen. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Like, what does it really do? How does it work? How economical it is? How have you kind of made that into an economies of scale? And just give us some stats about what one meal right now costs.
So, when the chairman got all those applications, 100,000 children, how do you cook rice or lentil soup for 100,000 children? The first kitchen was 30,000. So that's where the first innovation of Akshaya Patra happened. We used steam, which is generated through steam boilers, which is there in industries, corporates, for cooking food. So it was one of the innovations. When we went to north of India, North Indian children don't eat rice every day. They need flatbread. They need rotis. So we worked with a Sardar in Punjab who had a papad making machine. And he helped us develop 10,000 rotis per hour, flatbreads per hour machine, which we scaled it up further by investing 30% more to create a machine which can make 40,000 flatbreads per hour.
Per hour?
Per hour.
Oh, okay.
Because, see, any innovation or technology, what we're trying to do is to solve the problem at scale.
Correct.
So, innovation, again, is one of the DNAs of Akshaya Patra, especially frugal innovation. Another very important thing, Anu, in Akshaya Patra is for every 100 rupee a donor gives, 92 goes to the program. 8 is our overhead cost. And today, as we speak, for $25, I'm sorry, not $25, for $20 net of what the government gives us, we can feed a child for one whole year.
Oh, wow.
I think today, I don't know, in the United States, probably a large pizza must be costing how much? Maybe $20, right?
Yeah.
So for a cost of a large pizza, we can feed a child for one whole year, academic year, unlimited food for education. That means till the child says enough, we can feed the child.
Oh, wow. Wow. So that's really remarkable.
Yeah.
So you guys started building out these technologically advanced facilities to then produce 20,000-30,000 rotis per hour and scale it up similarly for dal, for khichdi, for rice, so on and so forth. Because now you are in so many states, now you are in union territories, so many states, so many schools, which actually also expands to the remote part of the country.
Yeah.
How many such facilities do you guys own today for you to be able to feed such a large population? And how and where are they kind of located strategically? Like, do you have it in each state? Do you have it in like each area? Like how wide is that network?
So we are there in 16 states and 3 union territories of India. And from each of these kitchens, the centralized kitchen, about 30-kilometer radius, we serve children. And about 50% of what we serve goes to rural areas, though the kitchen may be located in a place where there is good infrastructure, good road connectivity, water, etc. And that's how we have spread out.
Right. So how many facilities do you have?
78 kitchens, out of which 2 are decentralized kitchens.
What is decentralized?
A decentralized kitchen is a kitchen that operates from the school.
Oh.
So we
Okay.
have this kitchen in Baran in Rajasthan, and we have one in Nayagarh in Orissa.
Why do you have decentralized kitchens?
So when we started in Baran, it didn't have proper road connectivity. It did not have access to infrastructure. So we said, let's do this as an experiment. And that worked very well. And women folk who were working, who were at the time getting a few hundred rupees a month, today get 8,000 to 9,000 rupees a month.
Oh, so you started then employing also women
From
in
the
these
location.
kitchens. So they would come.
Exactly.
But these decentralized kitchens, then would they be very technological advanced? So this is then run by locals for locals kind of a thing?
we work with the self-help group women. They are not technology advanced. This is more localization, smaller number of meals. But they also improve significantly the livelihood of women who come from remote areas.
Of course, correct.
But then to scale that up, it becomes difficult, ensuring hygiene and quality.
Correct.
And that's one reason why we have not scaled up the decentralized model.
Oh, so decentralized model is basically, okay, so I get what you're saying, that basically it's hard to scale and it's not hygiene, and there's so many other factors that goes into the play.
Yeah.
But you basically only have for these 2 locations where it is logistically challenging for you to serve.
Exactly. And it's a good model to showcase. So we gave them smokeless stoves and trained them on hygienic cooking.
So it's basically a literacy program for them as well. Like I'm familiar with this model. Years ago, I used to live in Rwanda, and there I used to work with Women's Cooperative Bakery, which is actually run in partnership with Rwandan government, USAID, and few other nonprofits. And the way we would do it is we would basically, it's a cooperative bakery. It's similar to a cooperative milk federation, Amul in India, where a lot of women come together to actually bake bread. And then what we would do is we would take this bread, make it like a local artisan bread, and then send it to the stores and hence to the people. But basically that helps them kind of have a livelihood. So when they come to the cooperative bakery, not just as an employee, or even when they come as an employee, they're not just an employee. We treat them as like students. So the idea is, because they are illiterate, so you teach them how to count. You teach them how to read and write. You teach them the importance of nutrition. So in Rwanda and in rural Rwandan area, people will make bread, but it's not nutritious because they don't know how best to kind of mix it all, right? So it's very watery. It's not very healthy.
Right.
So we teach them like what is the right proportion. Maybe you can also add some fruits. You can add some vegetables. You add zucchini, make that bread, feed to your children. And it was a huge movement because basically it educates women, it empowers them, and then it helps them kind of feed their children right and then take care of malnutrition as well. So I understand this concept is kind of bordering on that line that you give them a livelihood, you make them independent, you give them empowerment, but you also teach them the basics of nutrition, something that they can go and take back home as well. So it's been on those lines. And I think this is a great initiative. And I can personally speak for this because I have seen this work wonders in Rwanda. So much so that we were actually, this was a case study in IIM Ahmedabad. So IIM Ahmedabad had taken it as a case study, the Rwandan Cooperative Bakery. And at some point in time, we were talking to Dr. Reddy's Foundation to see if we can bring the same model to India and then actually, build it as just as what you were saying, more as like a decentralized setup and in rural India.
Decentralized setup has its own advantages. But then it has disadvantages also. Of course, centralized also has its own advantages and disadvantages. But Akshaya Patra chose to take the centralized route actually.
So now that there are more centralized kitchens, and then the way it would work with Akshaya Patra is you will make the meals and then you will prepare it in containers. And then will you have your own logistics companies go and deliver it to the schools?
So we have 1,500 buses of hope.
I like the name, Buses of Hope.
So that deliver the meal every day to children. And then we have customized containers which carry the meal. And it's kept hot. So when the serving happens, it's about 65 degrees centigrade. So it's hot. Children in India love hot meal.
So then they carry it. But what is the distance like for you to serve? Like there's 78, you said 78 decentralized kitchens.
No, 78 76 are centralized kitchens.
Oh, sorry, 76 centralized kitchens.
Yeah.
But it would at least be a minimum distance of an hour or two between the kitchen and the school.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Some places it may be a little more, but we try to keep the cook to consumption time as bare minimum.
as bare minimum.
That's very important because we don't want microbial contamination to happen.
Correct.
Because these are children who are going to school. Any child should not get affected by a meal which is not safe. So safety is topmost priority of Akshaya Patra.
Correct.
In fact, recently the Confederation of Indian Industry gave our kitchens the highest rating for food safety excellence.
Oh, okay.
Recently, 57 kitchens were audited by the Food Safety and Security Authority of India. 55 got 5-star ratings
Wow.
for hygiene, and 2 of them have got a very good rating actually.
Yeah. So obviously, I don't have the stats, but through my association with American India Foundation and through Yuva and Stoppable, when I introduced you to Amitabh Shah as well, one of the things that I've learned is that as part of Viksit Bharat, we're still talking about nutritious meal to children. We're still talking about combating malnutrition, right? You guys are doing a great job, but this is only 16 states, and we have a lot more states than just 16, right? What is the path to scaling up to a national level, right? And I'm assuming there are obviously some challenges as to why we are not there as yet. So we start with what are the challenges and what will be the path to actually reach all the states in India and to possibly serve all the schools with a hot
Let me
meal?
give you some statistics.
Yeah.
India runs the world's largest school meal program.
How many
There are
schools would be there?
110 million children who get a meal every day. And out of these 110 million children, we are just doing about 2%, you can say. So at 2%, we are the world's largest school meal program by a not-for-profit. So it's like saying a company which has 2% market share is the world's largest. That's the scale of this country, India. Now, from a challenge perspective, from scaling up, the biggest challenge for us is not growth. The biggest challenge is sustainably growing. That means once you start a kitchen, you have to feed the child every day.
Correct.
Right? And the child will be there in the school for, let's say, 10 years. So you need to have a visibility of fundraising for 10 years. So financial sustainability is the single biggest challenge for scaling up of a program like Akshaya Patra.
So fundraising then becomes an important element.
Fundraising which is consistent and long-term.
But you guys already have very strong partnership. You guys already have very strong corporate partners, Infosys obviously being one of them. And I actually know of Akshaya Patra from my introduction to the then CEO of Akshaya Patra, United Kingdom, many, many years ago. And that's how I knew of Akshaya Patra. And this is obviously my very shallow understanding, but every time, especially in that circle, because that circle is also very elite, very accomplished Indians, a lot of member of parliaments, a lot of industrialists, and they've always had an open checkbook for Akshaya Patra, right? So my understanding always was that there is such a strong support for Akshaya Patra that already exists. And then scaling to me was basically simply, just how strong a government partnership can you all forge? Am I wrong in my understanding? Because I used to think fundraising is not really an issue for Akshaya Patra at all.
No, so fundraising, Akshaya Patra does a good job, whether it is US, India, UK. But there are many not-for-profits who are doing a good job. And an HNI or a corporate has options to choose them. What we are very careful is once you start a kitchen, the child comes with the hope that she will get a meal. 8.5 rupees is what the government gives Akshaya Patra for a 15 rupee meal, unlimited meal. 6.5 is what we raise. So their decentralized kitchens, they spend 8.5 rupees.
Oh, is it cheaper to do it in I would believe it is cheaper to do it in a centralized way, right? Because if you add more capacity, then it'll actually become cheaper.
Yeah. So if you look from a perspective of economies of scale, quality, hygiene, then a centralized kitchen works better. Okay? Centralized kitchen works better. And then there are a lot of factors. The government may get it free of cost at a school, which for an Akshaya Patra case, we need to pay it actually.
So that's where the difference kind of
Exactly,
comes in.
exactly.
And so then it becomes challenged to scale it further. But so far,
But the government has done a phenomenal job in India in terms of food safety and nutrition delivery as a program.
So we spoke about a lot of work that you all are doing at present. What I want to understand is more in terms of what has been the outcome or the impact of these initiatives, right? Especially on children. One of the things that I would always hear about back in the days, when this whole midday meal program started in school, it was so that we increase the attendance of children in the school so that they come. Food then becomes an incentive for them to come to school, right? And it becomes incentive for parents as well. They have less to feed, so they're more happy if children are being fed there. How have you seen your program kind of impact the attendance in the school or educational outcome in any sense in the school? What has that experience been like?
I'll give you a real life, there are many examples, but I'll give you a real life example of what kind of an impact it gives.
But please also do share stats with me if you can to just understand the scale of the impact. Yeah.
Few months, I think last month I was at Palo Alto Networks.
Yeah.
And they were doing a workshop. The CEO was also there. They were doing a workshop with Akshaya Patra on information security. So the head of CSR was there and he said, Shridhar, I have a surprise for you. So I was wondering maybe he's going to write a big check. So then he introduced me to a girl by the name Suman. She's a 10-year beneficiary of Akshaya Patra.
Oh, wow.
Works for Palo Alto.
In Bay Area?
No, in Bangalore.
Okay.
In Bangalore. And she says that Akshaya Patra meal played a very, very pivotal role in her journey to reach a good corporate. Then we also run a program called AN, Akshaya Patra Alumni Network, where thousands of children who have done very well. For example, the chapter chair of AN in Bangalore, he's a first attempt chartered accountant. Parents do a very menial job. So lives of these children have changed for good.
Yeah,
They have
drastically.
broken the vicious cycle of poverty and hunger.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from a stats perspective, you see the malnutrition levels come down significantly. And we have recorded data for all of this. Attendance goes up. The BMI of the child improves. Height and weight improves. And they are able to focus on studies much better. So the academic performance of these children goes up significantly
higher.
Significantly higher.
Yeah. And that has been like one of the key kind of impact stat to some extent, because you want to make sure that we have more
Absolutely.
literacy, we
Absolutely.
have less dropout rate, we have healthier children
Exactly.
to kind of move forward
Exactly.
with. So this is great. This is remarkable work that you all are doing. Another question I have is, we touched upon it. We spoke about women empowerment through the decentralized kitchens, right? And can you zone into that, how these initiatives also help in women empowerment on scale?
So I'll tell you an anecdotal kind of a thing.
Sure.
The women in Baran used to tell us, earlier we were earning few hundred rupees a month. Today we earn 9,000 rupees a month. Now our husbands respect us much, much more. Okay, the livelihood has gone up. They're doing much better. We have also set up all-women kitchen in Barsana, which is in Uttar Pradesh. So right from security guard till the head of operations, a lady.
Oh, wow.
And they're all from that location. Women driving electric vehicles.
Amazing.
They're cooking with ladles which are innovated for them. And that has created a significant impact on that location. So we want to have more of these women-run kitchens. This is a centralized kitchen. So this is the initiative which we are doing. Let me also share with you, since we are talking of women empowerment, a lady in Kenya was feeding 50 children from a church. She saw Akshaya Patra's kitchen video in National Geographic. The world's largest kitchen is credited for Akshaya Patra. Thanks to Mr. Deshpande, Mr. Narayana Murthy, Sudha Murthy and Jayashri Deshpande. We have a kitchen in Hubli in Karnataka, which is the world's largest kitchen. So she saw this video and wrote to me and got connected. We shared with her how we run the kitchens, centralized kitchens, what processes and systems we have, what kind of audits we do, how do we source. And she then came and visited us. 5 women, all of them from Kenya. And today she's feeding 350,000 children every day in Kenya and plans to feed 3 million children every day in Africa.
Oh, wow.
So this is how Akshaya Patra's program is impacting the world around, actually.
Yeah, this brings us to an important point, which is about global expansion. So you guys are already doing a lot of work in India. Kenya obviously is one of the countries that you touched upon. And you have offices in the United States and in UK, which I think are more centralized for fundraising,
Yeah.
right? But are there any plans of Akshaya Patra to kind of go global and have an impact on a global scale?
So our vision continues to be India. From an operations perspective, we'll stay focused on India. However, we are helping, for example, the president of Indonesia. He met our prime minister and said he wants to have an Akshaya Patra kind of a model in Indonesia.
Wow.
And we've had few rounds of discussions. We'll be very happy to share what Akshaya Patra has done with them. We have done that. In fact, sometime back, someone asked me this question: why don't we patent whatever has happened in Akshaya Patra? So my answer to that was, we don't want to capitalize on hunger. More and more people copy what we do. More and more people emulate what we are doing. We're very happy.
Yeah.
So Indonesia is one. Sri Lanka, we are trying to help them. Kenya, I shared with you the example. Nepal, when the Nepal tragedy happened, earthquake happened, Akshaya Patra set up a kitchen in 10 flat days with the help of Tata Trust. And we served 1.5 million children in those few months. And then we left behind that kitchen for them to operate, actually. So our focus will continue to be India. We'll be happy to share our knowledge with other countries. We are getting requests to set up Akshaya Patra in Sri Lanka, Akshaya Patra in Indonesia, and other places which we are evaluating. But the focus continues to be India.
And rightly so, right? India still, like you said, you're only serving 2% of the
scale
Indian
is huge.
Correct.
The scale is
There's
huge.
still like 98% gap, which you would ideally wish to
The government
close.
is doing it, and we are very happy to partner with the government.
Yeah.
And share whatever we are doing.
Yeah.
And they are very, very supportive of Akshaya Patra.
Yeah. And so I think when you talk about your expansion in global markets, it is more to do kind of, how do you say it? It's knowledge sharing, like you rightly said. And it's basically sharing your learnings, the shortfalls and the wins and the losses. And
more
help
of
them.
unlearnings and learnings as well. Yeah.
Exactly. So that they can kind of grow from there. But the idea is not really to take ownership of the operations there or kind of run it as an Akshaya Patra non-profit there. You may want to be like the strategic partners of the sort, but never really kind of be, operationally
as
active
of
on
now,
ground.
that's the thinking.
Yeah.
That's the
as
thinking.
of today. Yeah.
As of today, that's the thinking.
Yeah, and India is a huge market. I mean, there's so much more to be done there as well. So it makes complete sense. And since we're talking so much about India, I want to talk about the broader reflections, right? So what does Akshaya Patra's journey say about India's social sector and the role of public-private partnerships, especially in today's world, right? Because today India is no longer what it was in 70s and 80s, where we were so much dependent on foreign funding and foreign aids to kind of scale a lot of our social sector programs or social funding on ground. Today it has changed drastically. To a great extent, we are self-sufficient. So in today's light, how do you think this social sector has developed and the role of public-private partnerships? So
my personal view is, if you want to solve a problem in a country like India, if you take top 5 problems, if you take in a country like India, public-private partnership is the answer. So a good PPP can solve fundamental problems, the top whatever problems we have. So PPP, I would strongly recommend, is the way forward to solve problems at scale.
But I think, and that kind of touches upon the kind of government that we have, because public-private partnerships, and I've seen that in many sectors, not just in nonprofit, a lot of times, the corporates or funds or whoever the entity be is a little hesitant, because public-private partnership can also be very messy. It just depends on who is in power, what government is in power, and then when the power is handed over to some other new coming elective body, then everything dismantles, right? So the consistency there also remains a challenge. So a lot of entities actually want to be self-sufficient. They do not really want to enter public-private partnership.
The classic example is Akshaya Patra. For the last 25 years, Different governments have come and gone. But Akshaya Patra has gone from strength to strength. So it's a classic model which is founded on values, principles, really wanting to serve the society, govern like a good organization. That then the government sees value in what you're doing.
But has there always been consistent government support over a period of 25
Always.
years? And it has
Always.
never wavered, never gone up or down.
Always.
So this is one program,
Always there has been great government support.
always, and so never
Always.
been a challenge.
No.
How about so support is one thing, which could be in the form of funding, it could be in the form of any other form of like strategic partnership. With that also comes a responsibility of the audit report or the compliance with the government rule. Has that been easy, or there has always been like a stringent requirement to kind of comply and report back to government, especially if you're funded by government in India?
Yeah. So we get regularly audited. And another very interesting thing about Akshaya Patra, Anu, is if you look at the leadership team of Akshaya Patra, the top guys who are the CXOs of Akshaya Patra, they come from very good backgrounds. For example, my CFO is a former partner of Deloitte. My chief operating officer was a former APAC lead for Caterpillar. My CIO is a former executive director IT of JP Morgan, Barclays. My CMO is a former managing director of F5 Inc. So these are people, they are not coming here to work for a salary. They're here to come and serve. So if you get right kind of people who believe in what Akshaya Patra is doing, and this applies to any not-for-profit or any organization which wants to scale up, I think, and with the support of government, I think it's a winning formula.
But I'm not talking so much from the compliance from Akshaya Patra's perspective, but basically a requirement from the government's perspective. So that's also one of the reasons, because sometimes there's so many stringent rules being put on.
So rightly so, right? If the government is funding you, they have right to audit you.
So it doesn't act as an impediment in your case. It's always kind of worked out for you all.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So
I've never seen what government is doing as an impediment to what we are from an audit perspective. Never.
Yeah. So, but from the conversation with you, it looks like this is a great partnership, and
Yes.
government has always been supportive. And you think this is still the right model to kind of scale for a non-profit like Akshaya Patra?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And, another part is basically like, so we're moving, because we're talking about India, we spoke about public-private partnership. One of the strengths that India has is the youth. And the Indian young population. It's one of the largest youth in the world, right? The youth population in the world. So if I have to ask you a question about it, which will be like, how do you view Indian youth and their growing interest in social entrepreneurship or any kind of social impact initiative? What is your view, and how do you think Indian youth is kind of functioning, partnering in this sort of an environment?
So let me tell you something about Indian youth today. They're very confident. They're very confident. They're unstoppable, if you ask me. Okay. So you are unstoppable is the right word to use there, actually.
Yeah.
So they are very confident. One is that. Second is even youngsters. So I'll just give you one example. We did a music concert. So we have a product called Music for Meals. So we had a music concert by a band. 90% of the tickets were bought by youngsters in the age of 18 to 24. So they want to participate in genuine cause. They want to contribute to the society. They want to see a positive change in a country like India. And they are looking for purpose. So whether it's a corporate or a not-for-profit, if it is able to offer creativity, purpose, innovation, fun, I think you will be able to get good youngsters.
So you see that amongst the Indian youth, like they want to be part of this change.
Absolutely.
Right.
I see that in volunteering, a lot of youngsters come and volunteer. When IIMs do case study, many of these young kids, they do the case studies with us.
So you see like a lot of enthusiasm and youth on ground and the
The
change they want to
centuries
make.
of India.
Yeah, I truly believe this is a century of India, and I do believe that with the right kind of combination of the well, not combination, but like kind of, these are strategic levers to me. Like government is a strategic lever, corporate and youth, but all of these three, if they combine forces, I think India would be unstoppable. I don't have any doubts about that.
Absolutely, well said. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. So that brings me to the next part of the conversation, which is basically looking at your learnings, the reflection of your journey, So looking back at your time at Akshaya Patra, what do you think has been your biggest personal and professional learnings?
Personal learning, ideas create, values protect. Okay. And it's very, very important to have a strong value system, whether you're running a corporate or whether you're running a not-for-profit. And once you have your values, do not budge. So that has been one of the learnings which I have. Second is very important that you create an organization which becomes a platform for spreading happiness, whether it's to your stakeholders or to your employees. For example, Akshaya Patra, we are a 9 times in a row Great Place to Work certified. Our pride score is 93 on 100. So very, very important. And we have an employee first policy. So I've learned that if you keep employees first kind of an approach, you do well consistently. The way you deal with employees. So respect is very, very important in Akshaya Patra. And I've learned that if this becomes core of your organization, you do well. So this has been my personal learning. Professional learning, of course, as I mentioned to you, focus is key to scaling up. Innovation. Many times, not-for-profits, they do a great job, but they don't market. In my view, good work should be marketed in the right manner. So that has been a great learning. You don't have to paint the town red or blue, but it's very important that good work is known. And podcasts like this help.
Yes,
right?
Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, but that's super interesting. So if today you meet a young professional who's doing exceptionally well, as you were doing 20 years ago, and comes and tells you whether he should make a transition or not, what would be some of the elements that you will ask this individual to evaluate before he or she makes that decision?
I would say how much belief that youngster has on the cause which he or she wants to pursue, whether it is education related or hunger or skill building, personal belief and conviction that this is the area which I want to focus, that in that area they should take some time. My case, I was lucky, it happened.
Yeah.
But when I reflect back, I would say the youngsters should take some time, pause and reflect to see, is this what I want to pursue for long? Because transformative impact doesn't happen in 6 months or 1 year. It takes 20 years, 30 years.
A very long commitment.
Yeah, it's a long commitment. So if you are there for a 30-year journey and you feel this is the field I need to take, then take that field.
So it's basically long-term commitment is key. You should be able to see yourself in it for as long as you can think.
For a long time. Then only you can make a transformative impact.
Correct. So Shridhar, if people were to remember you 50 years from now, how would you want them to remember you?
First of all, great question. I want to be remembered as a person who genuinely tried to spread long-lasting happiness, a person who was values-driven and who instilled respect in the dealings, and someone who's remembered as a squirrel in the big bridge which Lord Rama built.
Yeah.
Right? As a humble servant of the Lord. That's what I would like to be remembered as.
And is that the personal legacy you want to leave behind? Or what would be the personal or professional legacy that you want to leave behind at Akshaya Patra, with Akshaya Patra?
I would want one of our beneficiaries become the CEO of Akshaya Patra. Oh. That is one of my dreams.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure someday they will.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I want to do.
Yeah. So basically, you want to...
I could not have asked God anything more. It has been an extremely fulfilling journey. And we have a tremendous team. I owe all this credit to my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, my chairman, Madhu Pandit Prabhu, vice chairman, Chanchalapati Prabhu, an amazing team of missionaries and professionals. I think the team is what has made Akshaya Patra what it is today, driven by purpose, the direction given by the spiritual master, actually.
So it seems like the way you want to see this is you want this to be a foundation that changes someone's life for that person to then come back and be the face of this foundation.
Absolutely.
And then carry the legacy forward.
Absolutely.
I think that's very beautiful.
Absolutely.
I think it's very, very deep, very
And
meaningful.
I wish that's a girl child.
Yeah. Because you think that will just be like a very different kind of... It's basically like
we
poster
believe in
child.
Akshaya Patra, Anu, that when you educate a boy, you transform a family. And when you educate a girl, you transform generations together.
I think that's also like some sort of like a poster child to what an organization like Akshaya Patra can actually do to a girl or a girl child in India, which we all know socially still to some extent we visualize it as a marginalized gender. So that's actually empowering on many, many levels if that ever happens. I am sure that day is not very far when you'll be able to pass the baton to someone.
So I'll be very happy if this happens.
I'm very sure it will happen, right? I mean, you just gave two remarkable examples, one from Palo Alto Networks and, the other example that we spoke of, the chartered accountant. So I think that day is not very far. That chartered accountant
now works for Deloitte.
Oh, wow. That's such a strong and a powerful story in like our world, right, today. And that basically brings me to my last question, which is like, what message would you like to leave for young listeners who want to make a difference? What is the message that you want to leave for them through this show today?
So the young listeners, I would say that have hope, have faith in life, and go out and transform the world around you.
This is brilliant. This is very hopeful, very inspiring.
Thank you, Anu.
Thank you so much, Shridhar, for doing this with me today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.